Okay, here's our top and bottom heated 10,000 pound press. Here you have your top heat and your main timer. Here's your bottom heat and your secondary cool down timer. This is a switch to deactivate your cool down cycle or activate it. Here's your main pressure and your gauge. These are your activate buttons. You have to have twin hand activation. You can't just hit one. And here's your e-stop button. Let's talk a little bit, and this is your main power right here. Let's talk a little bit about the cool down cycle and your cool down timer. This is just the bottom heat. This timer is used for when you want to shut off heat and start the fans to cool down the Platens. Of course, these Platens are thick and high wattage, so I'm not sure what the time is going to be on your cool down cycles, but you can figure that out for yourself. We have these cool down fans, nice high volume boxer fans blowing right on the Platens. Here's what happens. You set this timer for your overall pressing time. Set this timer for the time you want to shut off the heat. When we activate this press, and I'll show you now, here's our Platen, here's our handle, all the stuff underneath is all enclosed, and we just have the slides. We roll this in, and you'll hear a little bit of a click to engage it, which allows us to activate the press. And I'll go ahead and hit both of these buttons. And as you can see, the press came together. We put a little pad in there just so we weren't pressing metal to metal. And that's it. So we have this huge 10,000 pound airbag under here that's lifting the bottom up against the surface. And we have these two pressing plates coming together. During the countdown time, both the main counter and secondary counter are both running. When the secondary counter runs out, that's when the heat turns off, which switches off a relay. And if you hear, the fans come on. The fans turn on and the heat turns off internally, regardless of what these controllers are calling for. So the controllers eventually will call for more heat as they go below their set point. Doesn't matter. The heat has been bypassed when this second timer has elapsed. When the main timer finishes, everything releases. Now we've got it set so far so that when the press releases, and you can control this release speed, the fans maintain their cooling until you index the press. When you pull out the drawer, fans turn off, all your timing resets. So your timers will reset on your main timer, fans will turn off, and the heat controls will be active and no longer bypassed once this table is pulled out. So the bottom line is this is your overall pressing time. This is the time when you want to start your cooling cycle and your heat shutoff cycle. This right here bypasses that entire feature. If you shut this off, that means it's always heating and it's never going to shut off the heat and start cooling. If we have it on, that means our cooling cycle is active. Our pressure setting is right here. Sorry, that's not coming in very focused. We want you to not go beyond 100 psi setting. At 100 psi, you're going to have about 10,000 plus pounds of force. No reason to set it any further than that. Hopefully you're going to be okay with this label. This is a transparent printed colored label. Not bad. I like how your logo matches a little bit of the digital screen. The frame's a little overbuilt this time around. This is 3/4 steel plasma cut, laser quality lines. Plate, a little bit of ventilation for the heat to come out when the fans are on. Very, very heavily built, extremely heavy press. This 3/4 support cut plate for reducing deflection. There's almost zero deflection, and the plate, the heating elements are nice and extra thick for fast recovery and low loss. This is just a pad we had in there so we weren't pressing metal. Mirror finish, aluminum tool and jig plates for heating. A little bit of a shroud here just to insulate so we don't come in direct contact with the heating surfaces. You can turn this heat off by just pressing your lower temperature setting and shutting it down, turning it to a lower temp, or all the way down to nothing. What else? That's pretty much it. There's a lot to it, but it's very, very elegantly and well enclosed. And it is well within the dimensions we gave you. I don't know offhand exactly what they came out to, but it came out to less than what we had actually had on that CAD design. So it's very, very compact for everything it's doing and for the amount of pressure it's going to be applying. Hope you're happy with it, and let us know when you're ready to get those down there so you can start testing them on your end and incorporating them into your process. Thanks so much.